What's up, folks? We're going to let some people jump on here. Going to get a couple things rearranged here. All right, here we go. Let's get that out of the way. Hope everybody's having a good Sunday afternoon, mid-Sunday evening. I know I am. Spent the weekend camping with the wife and enjoyed sitting around and camping. Got some few things done there. Those of you who have not seen, we did get fence line and the Big 8 all mounted up. I got them stashed behind me. Yep, there they are. Got them done, all mounted, looking good. Very happy, very proud of it. There will be a how-to video coming on how to do a European mount. We'll have that on Facebook. Currently working on that now, as y'all can see. Working on that, so we got some things going on. That'll be on YouTube, and can't wait to bring that to you guys. So let's go ahead and get this Q&A. Let's get her started off. So normally I'll only do 3 questions, as you guys know. This week, even though I posted late, we still got 4 questions, but 1 question, just I don't have much information for it, so we went ahead and I did get about 5 questions in this week, which is good, but we're going to do 4 just because of the one that we don't. If we have a little bit of time, maybe I can go to that other one, that 5th one. But so first question says, do you ever go on outfitted hunts, and what are some good ones in Illinois? I do not go on any outfitted hunts. Every hunt that you have seen where I have taken something, or my buddies have taken something, or past members have taken something, have all been private ground hunting. Our own ground that we have, whether we own it or we lease it, or whether we've just got permission to hunt that land, or whether it's public land. But we are all wild chase, fair game chase hunting. We don't go on any. I'd like to. It's not that I'm against it by any means. So yeah, I mean, might be one of these days I will, but as of right now, we have not been on any, so I cannot touch base of what are the good ones in Illinois. I know there are a few. Best I can say is Google them. Google some outfitters. I did Google some good questions to ask outfitters when you're hunting, before you book your hunt. So it'd be, give them a call, or if they're close to your area, go to them and meet up with them. Second question is, what is the best week to hunt deer for prime rut activity? Okay, so here in Illinois, the best week I have found for prime rut activity is the week prior to shotgun season, which normally is about the 2nd week of November. That normally is prime time for the rut activity in my area here in Illinois. Southern Illinois, the best week is during gun season, which is the week prior to Thanksgiving. Always falls that weekend prior. I've always found that those are the best 2 weeks in Illinois to hunt. As far as prime rut activity, you get a lot of rut activity. Sorry, folks. Long morning, long day. Now this, like I said, this varies area to area. That's just here in Illinois, what I have found to be the best. It might be something, it might be different for somebody up in Wisconsin, might be somebody different in Ohio, might be different dates for somebody in Florida. But them are the best, those are the best weeks that I find. And those are always the 2 weeks that I try to take my vacation around. A lot of guys talk about the moon and all that. Normally in my area, that's about when all that stuff falls, the red moon and that stuff. So you can get in there and see prime rut activity. Now you will see some pre-rut activity prior to that. Your best pre-rut, I'm going to say it's anywhere from Halloween into that first week of November. So if I had to choose just one specific week to hunt, and I could not hunt at all, I'm going to say it'd be anywhere from about November 7th to about November 16th, 17th. That's normally when I see the prime activity, and I took both of them bucks were taken right around in that vicinity area. So, yeah, that's the best time here in Illinois, and that's the best you're going to find, I think. Get out there and scout, start looking. If you got trail cameras, you start seeing them bucks with swollen necks, you know it's getting close to prime time. You need to get out there if you're looking to specifically hunt. But if I was going to choose 1 week, it would be probably from November 17th to about the 16th, 17th in there. So what is your hunting style method is the number 3 question. My hunting style method. I'm not 100% sure what that is meant. My hunting style for deer is I sit in a tree stand. I run 9 cameras. Yes, 9 cameras out. I watch those very closely every weekend. When I hit the woods, most of the time on Friday evening, I'll go out. I pull every camera. I pull all the cards that I can, the ones that are non-cell. And those are pretty easy to get to, and they're on my path to one of my best stands, and I normally choose that stand for that evening. Pull all the camera cards, bring them back in, check them for the activity that's been happening in those areas, see if anything's better. And then I'll make my stand selection from there. But that's my hunting style. And then on Sunday, I will take those out. I will take those same cards out. Sorry. I'll take those same cards out again. And not only do I check for those, do I check what activity's been happening that I didn't see while I was hunting that day or that weekend. I will also turn around, and that gives me a clean slate for the week to start over to collect them cards again on Friday. And I will not touch them cards again until Friday evening. Unless I harvest one through the week and that particular card is right there, then take the chance of maybe that buck or doe ran by there, and you know, we've all seen it. So we've all got that dream of catching our kill on our own trail cameras, which is pretty cool. But my method is I set up in a deer stand by some heavily used trails, whether it's a funnel or trails leading to a food source or to a water source or coming to and from their bedding. I've got that all mapped out, and I have a nice aerial map of my area that I do hunt and the very well used trails. I play the wind, douse myself with L&M Custom Scents cover scent, and we go from there. And a lot of times, sometimes I got to sneak into a stand that the wind direction might be wrong. If I know a particular buck is hitting that area, I will not go into that stand or that area. So, and I've got a grunt call that I use that is from Blackjack Game Calls. I use that each and every time. So deer's out there and he's out of range, I can throw a few single grunts at him, depending on what time of year it is. If it's, whether I use a tending grunt, whether I use just a couple short grunts or whatever to get that buck in. And I also do some blind calling as well. Blind calling is pretty much where you become the hunted. You throw grunts out, use some rattling horns, a couple snore wheezes, and you wait for that deer to come in looking for that fight. So, I mean, that's what I mean by blind. Pretty much you're putting yourself as you're the hunted now. My other method that I squirrel hunt, I spot and stalk squirrel hunting, walk through, especially the early part of August. Just kind of ease through the woods, walking, looking in the trees, watching for the limbs to move, watching for one to be jumping, listening for one to be eating. When it starts getting later into August, into the first part of September, they're starting to cut. Probably about the second week, I think it is. Yeah, about the second week around here in Illinois, they start hitting the hickory nuts. They start cutting on those and try to get by some hickory nut trees, and then they step on into pecan about the third week. About the fourth week, they're hitting on the acorns. And on into September, they're hitting onto them acorns some too. And so you find them prime nut trees, and you get on the squirrels fight. If you can find a tree that they're cutting, old skill that my grandpa and my dad taught me years ago when I was a young kid is go out and we do what we call checking trees. If we know some hot trees that they normally cut good on, we'll go to those trees, check it out, see if we find any cuttings on the ground and how many there is, and then we'll do that mid-afternoon. And then what you do is you'll go back that evening, sit underneath that particular tree. You'll sit somewhere close to it. And if you got a real hot tree that they're really cutting on, you can harvest your limit in a matter of minutes. I know I've stepped out and found a tree like that on an evening, went back the next morning, got in there right at time to hunt, and sat down and had my limit. I think the limit now here in Illinois is 5. And I've taken my limit within the first half hour of my sit. So the first week of August, spot stalk. The next time, the following weeks, I'm hitting the nut trees, and we'll try to bring you some of that action this year, as far as maybe checking the trees and checking and doing that sort of thing, and sitting under a tree and just sitting there waiting for those squirrels to come in and start cutting. And of course, when they start cutting, you got to be able to get up, walk around, find them in the tree, and be able to take them as efficiently as possible. Rabbit hunting, I did the same things. It's not really spot and stalk. Get out, walk the weeds. I've never had dogs, so I think I've only hunted with a set of dogs one time. That was years past. Most of the time, it's feet on the ground, hitting the brush piles, hitting the thick weeds, finding that good thick bedding where they'll just lay up, and kicking the brush. And when you kick that brush, they jump up, boom. You wait for them to get out there and you take a shot. You make sure, if you got hunting partners with you, that they're clear and not in the way when you shoot. Best to yell out when one jumps up. Same way with pheasant. Here in Illinois, you can only take the cocks, and so you want to make sure when they flush that you're shooting at a cock and not a hen. So, but those are my methods of hunting, my skill or my style, as far as what I do with the species that I do hunt. Turkey hunt, I mean, everybody turkey hunts different. Walking and calling, you can walk and call. Others set, find them on the roost, go in the next morning with some decoys, try to catch them coming down off the roost and shoot them. Like I said, don't have much experience turkey hunting. I've not done a lot, as you guys have seen. So those are the best. The number 4 question here, and we're rolling right on along. We're going to try to keep this about 20 minutes because the wife's cooking dinner. Got to be in bed early. Got to get up early again, once again. How often do you practice with your bow or gun? My bow, all through the summer, springtime, summertime, wintertime, it don't matter. Man, I get out there with that bow and shoot, always making sure I'm good. Start practicing. I start practicing hard about a month and a half, so about the middle of August to the beginning of September. I'll get out there, and I'm out there religiously every day. I'm shooting 30 minutes, 30-minute times, and I'll shoot at different distances, 10 yards, 20, 30, 40, and then I bounce and I'll go back 40, 30, 20, 10. And then some practice rounds, I'll just walk around my yard at different angles and different yardages, not even knowing the yardages, and just see. That way I keep my yardages guessing. And you might shoot one at 25, might shoot out at 30, might shoot out at 40, might shoot one at 50. And I'll just do that, and I just kind of walk. And I used to drag the target out to the deer stand and have the wife and the kids move that around. Kids now moved away from home. The wife don't really enjoy that too much, but what I do now is I set a stand up in my yard, and I get down, I'll shoot 3 at 20, I'll shoot 3 at 30, and I just keep moving that bag around. I'll put it up underneath me, shoot up underneath me some, and we just keep going like that. So I practice, I'm going to say at the least 3 times a week. I've got the bow out. When it gets middle of August, beginning of September, I'm out there every day for 30 minutes. With my gun, I use a scope on my slug gun, so I really don't practice at all with that. I mean, I'll take it out week, maybe 2 weeks prior to slug season, and make sure the scope's still set. I might shoot 1 slug, I might shoot 2, I might shoot 3. But I just make sure that it's still set at the maximum yardage, and I think I've got my slug gun that I currently use, I think I've got it set for a max yardage of 100 yards. So I'll set that out there at 100. Actually, I set it out at 30, make sure I'm dead on at 30. And if I'm dead on at 30, then I should be good on out. So I don't really shoot much with the gun. I mean, I guess you should probably, to make sure that you're still accurate, but I make sure it's set. And this is the method that me and my dad's used for years and years and years. When we hunted Southern Illinois, the tradition is we'd go down a week, 2 weeks prior to slug season, set stands, and then we'd pull the gun out. We'd set something out there at 30 yards, make sure the scope was set, and if it was set, we went on. Go back to the house, clean her up, be ready for gun season in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or a week, whatever it might be. Pretty much do the same now, except we're hunting around here. Dad hunts out back at his place. Last year I hunted Clinton Lake, and we pretty much do the same thing. Pull the gun out, check it, make sure we're good, and go from there. I mean, and we harvest animals and harvest them ethically and to the best of our ability with those slug guns, doing it with that method, and have for years. And my grandpa would do the same thing. So, I mean, there's the way we do it. I mean, it may not be right, but it works for us. So find what works best for you. If you feel best to going out there and shooting every single day with your slug gun, great. Go out there and do it. Or with your rifle. With a bow, I mean, get out there and practice as much as possible, because a lot can go different wrong with the bow than it can, especially with the crossbow the same way. A lot can go. A lot can go different. So get out there and practice. Test yourself. That's the only way you're going to get your old muscles built up. You don't want to be weak when that buck walks through or that big healthy doe walks through. You don't want to be weak in the knees. So, yeah, get out there and do it best and do what you can. And do it with the rifle, do it with the gun. Do whatever makes you feel comfortable, man. I mean, if you get out and with your bow and you only shoot it, you know, first part of the first week, and that's the only time you touch your bow up until bow season, and then you get the bow out and you go bow hunting. If that works for you, great. I'm just, I've always practiced with my bow, and that's the way we stay, and that's the way I keep it. So, but I encourage you to do that. That keeps you so you can harvest your animal ethically, and you know your gear. You know, same way with your gun. That way you know your gear, you know the way it's going to shoot. I practice with my bow. I practice with the wind blowing, with the wind still, with the wind in my face. I cross wind from behind me. I try to practice all different scenarios. Sometimes it's a pain in the rump when the wind's blowing and it's blowing crossways of you, left or right, you know, but you got to compensate. And those are the things you're going to find when you're sitting up in that deer stand or setting in a blind somewhere. You're always going to have that issue. So you want to make sure that you're well in tuned and know where you need to be aiming. That wind's blowing 15 miles an hour, you know how far where to aim at. With as far as like squirrel hunting or rabbit hunting or pheasant hunting, I mean, it's the same way with turkey. Turkey, you want to make sure you're still sighted in good. You want to make sure if you're trying new ammo, you know, you want to make sure what kind of pattern you're getting. Get out there and shoot it and make sure. So, and the same way with rabbit, same way with squirrel. You know, if you're shooting a rifle for squirrel, like I do, I use a Ruger 1022. Get out, I do the same thing. Get out, make sure that it's still sighted in, ready for squirrel season, and get out there and harvest some squirrels. And nothing like eating a couple of fried squirrels or barbecue squirrels. So, all right, folks, we're closing. We're in on almost 25 minutes now. I know my dinner's just about done, so I'm going to jump off here. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. And we look forward to bringing you more question and answers like this. And we look forward to bringing you that how-to video. Stay tuned and watch for that on YouTube. That'll be coming in the next, hopefully within this week, we'll have that done. And you'll get to see in that video, I believe it's fence line that I've done that video on. So you guys will get to see that firsthand on how to do your own European mount. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. We'll see you in 2 weeks, folks.